Poems, Chapter 15. Ethan's Paradox. He stood eye to eye next to the grazing cow and stamped his foot, and the cow jumped back afraid. Then he laughed and turned his back and mooned the bovine beast. Where did this fearless child lose his respect for giants with hoofs and horns? Had he not been restrained by his mother's gentle hand, he would have whacked the cow on her nose and chased her across the field, laughing. Even now my heart's in my throat when I shoo the herd away, and when I hold a horse. Here and now I see this baby in complete command. Fear none at all. And I'm only planted calmly next to the herd because I pretend to be a man, having let my child flee as fast as feet would take him to the other side of the gate, where he peers through safely from the grazing cow. Enough, enough. He comes by once a week in a pickup truck. He leaves a check in her mailbox. It was his mailbox too for 41 years. But one day, when he turned 71, he just up and left. Enough. He had had enough. They had never gotten along. The house was too nice. Its windows were too big. It was all something he had never wanted, so he left. He built a woodshed to live in. And he goes fishing every day. And once a week he drives by her house in his pickup truck. He leaves her a $200 check in the mailbox. He pays the bills too. She divorced him. She couldn't figure out why he acted that way. She didn't want him thinking he could just leave a check and pay the bills and wash away 41 years of marriage. It was a nice house. She never kept him from fishing. People ought to be able to say what they want without some old fart running off to live in a shack and trying to buy off his conscience. Hell, he never paid any attention to what she said anyway. A letter to a friend. My dear Ulrich, here's something from me and from Chekhov. He's still dead. We're still alive. You're crying for the things that are not. You're not crying for the suffering that pokes you a little to let you know you're alive. The beds in the room are screwed to the floor. Sitting or lying on them are men in blue hospital gowns and old-fashioned nightcaps. These are the lunatics. You told me you were sick and I believed you. You do not have to die to prove it. That would be going too far. He was stopped and brought home, and the landlady was sent for a doctor. Dr. Andrei Yefimовich prescribed cold compresses and laurel water, then sadly shook his head and left, telling the landlady he would not come again, as one ought not interfere with people going out of their minds. If you succeed in just doing nothing, call me at once, as both of us will have become successful. You in doing it, and me in having suggested it. The doctor stopped admitting any new lunatics long ago, and people who are fond of visiting insane asylums are few in this world. If just one more thing goes wrong, I don't know where in my brain I will store it. There are just so many things to remember, but if I do not keep this last thing, how will I know to get even with the gods? They will laugh at me, and I won't know why. Morals and logic do not enter into it. Everything depends on chance. Those who are put in here stay here. Those who are not enjoy liberty. That's all. And there's no morality or logic in the fact that I am a doctor and you're a mental patient. It's pure chance, nothing more. Mary said that you seldom ate ice cream. I think that may be the cause of some of your bad luck. I've thought about it many times since the night she took me to the ice cream shop in Glen Cove. It's comforting, like masturbation and good music. If you eat ice cream, you don't want anything else. My most esteemed friend, don't believe it, he whispered, laying his hand on his heart. Don't believe them, it's a trick. All that was wrong with me is that in the course of 20 years, I've found only one intelligent man in our whole town, and he's mad. I'm not ill. I've simply been caught in a vicious cycle from which there is no way out, and it makes no difference to me now what happens. Rather than just doing nothing, I've suggested just do one thing. Doing nothing's too difficult. If you do just one thing and then fail, well, it's just one thing. And what does that matter? This accursed life, he snarled. And what makes it so mortifying, so galling, is that life will end not with any recompense for suffering and not with any apotheosis, as it does in an opera, but in death. A couple of attendants will come, take the corpse by the arms and legs, and drag it down to the cellar. Ugh! What does it matter? Our day will come in the next world. I'll come back as a ghost and haunt these swine. I'll make their hair turn gray. It's too bad we can't just do things without knowing what we're doing and without others knowing what we're doing and agreeing. It's not a mental effort. Mental efforts are quick and easy. They don't use much energy and they're perfect until the time comes for a demonstration. And in the end, all of the work and all of the reward are in the physical effort. My God, yes, you were pleased to say that while there's no philosophy in Russia, everyone philosophizes, even the little nobodies. What harm does it do their philosophizing? So why is this malevolent laugh, dear friend? Why should these little people philosophize when they have no other satisfaction? For an intelligent, cultured, proud, free-loving man, made in the image of God, to have no alternative to becoming a doctor in a stupid, dirty little town and spending his whole life applying leeches and mustard plasters, the quackery, the narrowness, vulgarity. Oh my God. If I had a choice, I think I wouldn't read anything. Of course, there's no choice. I've analyzed it carefully, and I see that books are full of chapters, and chapters full of paragraphs, and paragraphs full of sentences, and sentences full of words, and words full of letters, and letters are just ink splattered by force onto paper. So the final substances are ink and the force that put it there. And I live by that. It's a universal principle. After dinner, Mikhail came bringing a pound of tea and a pound of fruit candies. And Darushka also came and stood by the bed for an hour with an expression of dumb grief on her face. And Dr. Kabatov visited him. He bought a bottle of bromine drops and ordered Nikita to fumigate the ward. Toward evening, Andrei died of an apoplectic stroke, and he suffered violent chills and nausea, and something loathsome seemed to permeate his entire body, even to his fingertips. It rose from his stomach and his head and flooded his eyes and ears, and everything turned green before him. And Andrei realized that the end had come and remembered Ivan, Mikhail, and millions of others believed in immortality. And what if they were right? But he felt no desire for immortality and gave it only a momentary thought. A herd of reindeer, about which he had been reading the day before, extraordinarily beautiful and graceful, ran by him. A peasant woman held out a registered letter to him. Mikhail said something. Then all was gone, and Andrei lost consciousness forever. When Bill died, I'd been watching him for about 3 hours. He would take deep breaths, and his back would arch, and his chest would fill with oxygen from the clear tube that was connected to the blue nozzle in the wall. And the air would go out of him with a loud rattle, and his body would not let him die. I thought it takes more than bad luck and thinking to kill someone. You have to sit on their chest and unplug the clear tube from the blue nozzle. The body won't die just because it's suffering. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be nothing left to do. There are many things to do, and you are not yet immortal. And no one is standing on your chest, and the oxygen blows freely in your rooms. You live in a big city, and you know more than one intelligent man, and they've not yet been given blue hospital gowns. You still have some luck. You're a good friend. Above the tension. There's tension not below the surface, but on the outside, plainly showing. The raw edge of every statement heats your ears and sets your jaws. You can hear your teeth grinding. You can feel your nostrils spread. Not one thought builds a bridge. Not one word softens the feelings between you. You wait for the right dig. You listen for a phrase to turn around, to prove your position. Somewhere else you built a tower to sit on, to look down on the conflict. There, you think, above it all, I'll spit on the hot debate and I'll look skyward. I'll cut the ladder I've climbed. I'll let the crowd swarm without me. I'll listen, but I won't look down. When the tension is past, I wish I had a ladder. I wish the sky were not so boringly blue. I wish the swarm below included me.